Wow, Hollywood! Is this where I go to become an influencer?
Show me your butthole! You bitch! You stupid bitch!
Olivia Barbizon, practically perfect in every way. Welcome to the land of dreams. Don't worry, they're not cops. We're off to see the studio. Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Crikey, there's nothing like Hollywood in the springtime. So, spill the tea and crumpets. What kind of podcast are you, love? Are you a Real Housewives of Hollywood podcast? Washed up 90s sitcom kid? Joe Rogan himself? What kind of podcast are you, you daft wanker?
Well, Olivia Barbizon, it's a love letter to loving yourself, I suppose. One in which past struggles are re-examined through a comedic lens to reveal previously unlearned lessons.
Oh, hey! Where'd you get back? Stunning views. Working sink. Convincing ADT window sticker.
Is there a toilet too?
The sinks get broken.
Wow. It's finally happening, and for only $130 a square foot.
$230 a square foot, love. New podcast tariffs. Thanks, Biden. All I need is your autograph, Mr. Influencer.
Thanks so much for your help, Olivia Barbizon.
Welcome to the land of
Hi, I have a new podcast. Hi, I have a new podcast. Hello? You've fallen and you can't get up.
Yeah, no shit. Come help me up. Now I can finally get the January 6th Cents podcast going. You made this proud boy a happy boy.
Cue the tune. Is anyone here to help? He didn't. Oh, the podcast studio is great. I got a killer deal. Thanks for checking in, Elon. Oh, hi. I didn't see you come in as I settle in. Won't you join me? Ugh. Let's unpack my life. You know, before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to a couple friends. I've been threatening to do a podcast for years. Been encouraged to do it, actually. But I never could figure out what it would be. Because people know me in categories, right? They know me as the guy who won't shut the fuck up about politics. They know me as the guy that won't shut the fuck up about food. They know me as the guy that won't shut the fuck up about Britney Spears. Everyone's on her side now, right? And my mom passed away recently. And that was a fucking bummer. The thing about it, though, is it kind of helped me figure out what this podcast was going to be. Because when you're forced to look back at your life, when someone's life is flashing before their eyes and you're with them for it, you start going through your own life too, and you didn't plan on it. And you kind of start looking at traumatic things from a different standpoint. You know, there's some stuff that I'm still a little messed up over. And people always found these stories funny. They're like, you got to do a podcast. You got to tell the dildo story. But the problem is a lot of the stuff that people found funny wasn't funny to me. And that's when I realized, fuck, man, middle-aged guy here. What have I been doing my whole life? I guess everyone has that fucking realization at some point that, dang, like we're just temporary arrangements on this planet. And I better get a better fucking attitude. The depressed guy with the dramatic stories has to fucking grow up a little bit. And so Adam Ray, what's up, Dr. Phil Live, encouraged me to do this. And I said to him, you know, I feel like I'm getting a second act I never thought I'd have. And I think that's kind of the plot of this podcast. For anybody out there who doesn't know how to present themselves, doesn't know who they are, doesn't know if they feel fake or real to people because we have versions of ourselves that we put out there. And looking back at my life from where I am now, it's like, oh, fuck, you are a little bitch. Oh, you are a little crybaby. Oh, you are a selfish little piece of shit. But there's also a lot of stuff that I forgot. There's things that I thought I forgot, but I found out I didn't when I learned that they didn't forget. When you go through a box of stuff from your childhood and your whole life, you're like, this is the podcast. We're going to look back and laugh. So before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. Let me unpack here. Oh, the Love Loon line. I have a lot of fans, a lot of stalkers, a lot of paparazzi. They always call me for questions, so I wanted to take care of them. Yeah, let's see. Can you see that there? Man, I'm sweating like one of Diddy's sex slaves. At least he gives them a Gatorade every few days. All right. You can see the showpod. Fantastic. All right, just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Oh, Brittany.
May I have your attention, please? I'd like to take a moment to share our safety instructions with you. The Lovable Lunatic is a dizzying journey beyond your wildest disappointment. If you are offended by the words shit, bitch, fuck, cunt, cock, or moist, please turn up your volume at this time. As the Love Loon Pod is a free speech zone, Republicans and those who are weak at heart may want to run for the exits. Once inside the show pod, you are likely to experience turbulence due to your captain's treatment-resistant mood swings. We hope you enjoy sliding down the razor blade of life with us. Cinnamon toast on the floor.
All right, I think we're moved in. Oh my gosh. Oh shit. This is a good place to start. Oh, you guys. Yeah, if you're going to go back and look at your life and realize, where did things start going wrong? This is a pretty good place. Oh, shoot. The dildo. I should explain that. Let's go back. We're going to figure this out. Mr. Scott Borden's progress and assessment report. This is a letter given to the court by a court-ordered therapist after I was arrested for exposing myself in a public setting. I had just turned 18. This report is written at the client, that's me, Scott Borden, at the client's request to substantiate his status in therapy. The client, Mr. Scott Borden, is an 18-year-old unmarried man. He currently lives with his mother. He's employed by the Disney company. Did you guys see the Walt Disney quotes there? Yeah, I live by the man. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a lot of shit. He's employed by the Disney company. He has not yet received a driver's license, however. Mr. Borden came for court-ordered psychotherapy. On October 10th, he was charged with distribution of lewd material in the public place. According to Mr. Borden, he was given a dildo by his friends as a gift. He took a picture of himself with the dildo between his legs. This is what I did. So that it looked like he was masturbating. He was going to show this picture to his friends, and then he got rid of this picture. On October 5th, his friend Dawn, what's up, Dawn? They were going to Hollywood to see their favorite stars on the Walk of Fame, driving from their homes in Lake Forest. On the way, they stopped by a Burger King restaurant to use the restroom. As they leave the restaurant, Mr. Borden was going to throw this photograph away, but on second thought, he put the photograph on the door of Burger King because he thought it would be, quote, silly to do. Since March 13th of this year, Mr. Borden has been attending psychotherapy on a weekly basis in accordance with his court order. I'll tell the story in a second. He usually comes for his appointments casually dressed. Most of the time, he is able to come for his appointments, and when he is not able, he will eventually reschedule and make up for the missing appointments. Mr. Borden came from a divorced family where he seldom saw his father. Mother! That's my Norman Bates impression. Mother never remarried, and she's usually overly concerned with her son. Mother and son cannot see eye to eye on most matters. Neither parent knows about this legal case, nor the fact that he is attending psychotherapy. Throughout growing up years, Scott learned to adopt his friends' families, to rely on support, encouragement, and validations. It's bleeding. I'm sweating. This 30-year-old ink is bleeding. It is my opinion that Mr. Borden does not meet the diagnostic criteria for a type of paraphilia. I don't know what that word means, and would not pose a danger to the public. Boy, was she wrong. However, Mr. Borden seems to appear more together to others than he usually feels on the inside, and is quite unprepared for the adult world of complex relationships before him. This affects his ability to utilize sound judgment over his behaviors. His general immaturity, what a twat, naivete and innocence may continue to get him into this type of intellectual slip again and find himself in another mess. And that's what this podcast is about. In the past several months, Mr. Borden has demonstrated his intellectual capacity to gain insight and has benefited from psychotherapeutic interventions. My recommendation is that Mr. Borden continue with psychotherapy to build internal ego structure so that Mr. Borden can learn to think before he acts and consider consequences of his behaviors ahead of time. If further information is necessary, contact my office. This woman, we're going to talk about her. So I did not get the dildo as a gift. I gave the dildo as a gift to my friend Lisa, who was a big old slut. We'll talk about her in another episode. Yeah, and I took pictures of me with that dildo. First of all, look at me. Look at this sweaty blob mess. Does this look like my dick? Would anyone be like, I recognize that dick. It's Scott Borden's dick. It's not my dick. I gave the dildo to Lisa as a joke, along with other things you do when you turn 18. We got her a pack of cigarettes. We bought her a Playgirl and a Playboy. You know, making fun of sexuality at a young age is fun. And I bought her a dildo. So we took pictures, whatever. So fast forward about a year. My friend, she was a year younger than me in high school. Did you guys see my high school yearbook? We're going to go through them. I said, Dawn, I really want to go to the Walk of Fame and see Paula Abdul's star. We're going to talk about Paula Abdul. Childhood, love. I got to spend the day with her in her house. She made me lemonade. We're going to talk all about it. I want to see Rod Stewart's star on the Walk of Fame. So she had a car. And I go, I have an idea, Dawn. Let's tell your parents we're going to Planet Hollywood. I'm really fucking smart. So we're like, bye. We're going to go see the Planet Hollywood. We drive to CVS. We get some bottles of water. And I pick up a pack of photographs. Remember back then, those Kodak, you know, some people now are retro at their weddings and they're like, take a disposable. And then people are like, I don't want to print out pictures. I'm digital. So you go and pick up the pack of photos. So we're driving, you know, I'm going through the pictures and pictures of me at Disneyland, pictures of me eating food, pictures of me, with a giant cock. And we're driving up the freeway, and Dawn's like, I have to pee. So we pull over. We go to Burger King. That part's accurate. We pull over. She goes to pee. I'm sitting in the car, going through all my pictures like a fucking retard, and I see a group of like high school little fucking pieces of shit. And I go, man, how? And this is where my thinking is askew. And maybe I should have listened to the court-ordered therapist who was hired to prevent this young teenage lad from becoming an asshole in adulthood. Fail.
You lose!
So I'm like, you know what would be funny is seeing a bunch of young boys seeing a picture of, ooh, that sounds wrong. Scratch that out. Scratch that out. There's no. Is the phone not fucking set up? That's half of my show. Nobody fucking. Look, Scott has to do everything himself, as always. Cut that. Cut the part about young boys looking at my huge cock. Thank you. So I thought it'd be funny if these young boys saw a picture of me with a huge cock. So I go to the Burger King door. Again, my mom used to say, you always jump in the pool without checking for water first. All right, makes sense. Why would you check for water first? Maybe you have a problem with trusting others. We'll talk about it. And Dawn comes out of the bathroom. She gets in the car. We see the kids are like, my cock's not that big. It could be. Just buy one. We go to the Walk of Fame. We take pictures with Paula's star, Rod Stewart's star. It's great. We get back home. Everything's good. Cut to Tuesday. That was on a Sunday. Cut to Tuesday. I'm running rehearsal. Picture it. 1940s radio hour. I'm playing the role of Wally. And my big starring number is 5'2", eyes of blue, coochie, 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 coo. Has anybody seen my gal? Seen my gal. And then I see Dawn and Lisa, they come in. Anybody seen my Dawn? What's going on? I'm out of breath from my song and dance number. She goes, Scott, they found out. They found out about us. She hands me a letter. Dear Elaine and Carrie, her parents, your car was involved in a crime. You must immediately contact the Downey Police Department. So her parents go, Dawn, I have a question. How was our car involved in a crime in Downey? You were at Costa Mesa's Planet Hollywood, weren't you? Dawn just cried like a squirrel queefs. And she's like, nature's so beautiful. So she goes, I broke down and I told them the truth. You have to come over after rehearsal. And since they didn't have a car, I was like, 2 birds, 1 stone. You take your tears, sob in the back corner while everybody seen my girl. And then we'll go home, talk to your parents about it. Maybe they'll have some leftover chicken breasts with mashed potatoes and green beans waiting for me. And they did, because they loved me. All my friends' parents loved me, at least my parents. I think they love me. So her mom goes, tell us everything. I'm like, well, look, we knew you wouldn't let us drive to Hollywood. Why would that be? We're good parents. I don't know what parents are. We'll talk about it. So we tell the whole story. They're like, did you run a red light? Did you blow through a stop sign? Did you run over a Mexican and not care because they're immigrants? And fuck you, build the wall. Yeah, we'll talk about the election too. I'm like, literally, I have no clue what happened. So her dad used to be a what's it called? I'm having trouble finding the fucking phone doesn't work. Private investigator. That's what I was thinking of. If you guys want to donate some money, I'll be able to hire an assistant. I can hire a booth guy. It's a one-man fucking show. I had to push myself out of my mom's vagina. So we contact the police. Her dad is a private investigator. He's like, I'll contact the police. They go, want to tell us anything about a photograph with your giant cock? And I'm like, it can't be me. My cock's not giant. It wasn't then. It's still not. All these years later, they don't really get that much bigger over time. You'd think differently. We talk about it. 2 days later, I get a warrant for my arrest in the mailbox. This yellow piece of paper, yellow envelope. I remember I open it. I have it somewhere. Maybe it's in my other box of trauma. I fucking freak out. It was a $50,000 bail request. And it was like, just, exposure, decent exposure. And my mom is inside. I did live with my mom at the time. And I couldn't let, this is where trouble started, I think. And that's why we're going way back. We're going way back to find out who the fuck am I and why. Yeah, it's a crazy fucking story, but I have to admit later in life now that I'm a little bit of a fucking, I don't check for water before jumping in the pool. What could possibly go wrong if I put a picture of myself jerking off this on a Burger King at 2:00 in the afternoon to a group of teenage boys? Oops, I just don't see things through, kind of like this podcast. I'm out of here. Yes, this is a Scientology e-meter. We talk about it. So I remember I called my friend who just got into UCLA because my friends are all smart and successful and I didn't go that route. She's like, you better come up here, hide from the feds. So a friend of mine drove me up and I spent the night in the Alpha Phi sorority house, like crying in the fetal position. I was like, oh, I'm going to prison because my cock is huge. They think so. So we have to go get interrogated by the police. Dawn's mom picks us up. Dawn was a year below me. She was a senior in high school at this point, and I was whatever a college dropout would be at that point. So her mom picks me up at my mom's house, and my mom doesn't know. We're driving in the car from Lake Forest to Downey. It's like 30 miles, half hour or something. It's just dead fucking quiet. And about 25 minutes into the drive, her mom goes, hey, Scott, like in the rearview mirror, I could see her. She's like, Scott, I love you. Next time, can you get arrested closer to home? We go into the police station. At this point, I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Okay, who what do you think I did? I brought this with me. Of course I did. And I had it, couldn't fit in my back pocket. So I put it like in the back of my jeans. So like the balls of this were like down my ass, up and against my own balls. And it was like down my ass crack and up my spine. And I go in, I'm sitting, Dawn comes out, Rod Stewart. And she's crying. And I go in just kind of not taking it too seriously, I don't think. And I walk in and you have the guy who was like fucking police officer out of central casting, like bald, but that's, kind of like that thick stripe of hair that goes around just the bottom. Like they're bald, but then they have that like airplane neck pillow of hair right here. He's like, and then like a tie, but like the tie was kind of undone, and like a dress shirt, but it was short white sleeves. And he like leaned down. He's like, "You got some explaining to do, kid." And I'm like, "Tell me everything." And basically they go through the story. What happened, blah, blah, blah. And I tell them everything. Then they start telling me Dawn was saying things that weren't true. They're like, "She said that you knew." And I was like, "No, that's not true." It's kind of playing it off. They go, "Do you have a job? Do you have a job?" And I go, "Yeah, just have a huge cock. You think I don't have a job?" I'm like, "Yeah, I work at Disneyland. Yeah, I have a job. Walt Disney." And he goes, "They'll hire anybody." First of all, that's offensive. It took me a lot of work to become the first Buzz Lightyear. Oh, we'll talk about it. Yeah, I worked in characters at Disneyland. I was the fucking best Pluto you've ever seen, the best fucking Eeyore you've ever seen. I was a really good Queen of Hearts, although gender bidding back then wasn't as common, so don't talk about that one as much. Brer Fox, I loved Brer Fox. The costume was so light, the head was light, very, I had a sexual harassment complaint filed against me. Well, supposedly against me. This is not making me look good. I look like a sexual deviant. Yeah, she goes, "Brer Fox cupped my breast and held it there." And I was like, "I did not hold it there. I just cupped it." No, it was my double. He was in Critter Country. I'm not a tit grabber. But I was the first Buzz Lightyear. Why? Because this new movie was coming out called Toy Story. And they're like, "We need the best characters there are, damn it." You're simply the best. So the big parts you were going for were like Beast. If you're tall, you wanted Beast. Fucking Beast is like epic. He gets to fuck the white chick. But like really tall, so you had to be like super tall for Beast, because like his head actually starts on top of your head. Super crazy. Me, I'm average. It's always been a struggle of mine too. I'm not good looking. I'm not horribly ugly. I'm not skinny. I'm not morbidly obese. Actually, I am morbidly obese. One of the things you're going to learn in the Lovable Lunatic is that I have my own dictionary. For example, morbise. It's a term I use to describe myself. It's short for morbidly obese. Reject hard. That's another word you're going to learn in my vernacular. This is a safe space here. Okay. This is a safe space here. Okay. Reject hard is say, anyone who voted for Trump or all the fucking Democrats who stayed home and let the felon rapists walk into the White House again. I call these people reject and retards. It's just faster to call you people rejectards. More beast, rejectard. You're going to learn a lot in the Lovable Lunatic school. So he goes, "I'm offended by this picture. He goes, "I have a penis and I'm offended by that." And I go, "I don't find penises offensive." So right there, again, I was being interrogated for a crime and not quite taking it seriously. That's my bad. But again, come on now. Give me some of these fucking... He goes, "How do I know that's not you?" And I go like this. And I plop it down on his desk. And he looks at it. And he just goes, "That's not funny." The next day, I turned myself in. Her stepdad comes, picks me up in his big monster truck. It was the worst day of my life. And again, my mom was like, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to be a fucking cartoon character and play with children." We go to the police station. I go in, I get books, I take my mugshot, I get fingerprinted. They put me in a cell by myself. It wasn't like a jail. I know those too. We'll talk about it. I have some crazy stories, guys. But it's almost like a shower stall, just like with a bench. And I was like, I'm in a jail cell right now because I bought my friend a dildo. This is why I don't buy gifts for people anymore. Sorry, I'm not willing to go to jail again for you. Go to my first hearing, which was like 3 months later, and the prosecutor came in, this stupid little cunty little twatty, dressed in all red, and she really... So another thing you have to know about me is I'm kind of, what's the word? Retarded. And I can only describe things in like metaphors or weird references that not a lot of people get. But if you do, it makes the story all the more better. She was Sherry O'Terry from Liar Liar. If you remember, she had like little knots and she was like, imagine that in all red, half my height. And I was just fucking like, I didn't even have a suit. I was 18. I dressed as a fucking dog and a fucking toy robot for a job for $4.75 an hour. And that was after I got the promotion for being the original Buzz Lightyear. 50-cent raise I got for originating arguably the greatest role of all time. You guys could hit me up at Love Loon Pod. But I would say being the first guy to dress up in a costume as a robot and stand like this, I don't know. You fucking do it. She goes, Your Honor. And I remember the quotes because I'd used them in a play. I wrote a play about this whole ordeal. She goes, Your Honor, this young man, imagine what he would... This is how he starts his adult life. In a courtroom. And I was like, Walt Disney, I love Disneyland. That'll save me. God. We'll cut to when I got dragged out by police of Disneyland later. And I was like, you don't know me. I love Walt Disney's vision. I used to dress up as a dog in here. How dare you? Yeah, some crazy stories. We talk about it. She goes, this boy is the trash that litters our streets, the dirt that lines our shelves. And I was like, that's fucking beautiful. I didn't know I had that much power at the ripe age of 18 with no driver's license. I'm booked for crimes. I don't even have a driver's license. So they don't dismiss it. Dawn's dad has to call his friend who's an attorney. The attorney meets me. We're in the courthouse in Downey. He comes out. I remember sitting in this long gray hallway. I'm sitting on a bench, very similar to the bench that I got to know Elizabeth Holmes. Do you know Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos, The Dropout? So you're going to know I'm a big trial nerd, a big true crime nerd. I knew Nicole Brown Simpson and the Brown family growing up, and she's buried across the street from my high school. We saw OJ's Bronco speeding past the cemetery from Chad's backyard wall because the news crews were paying people to film the funeral and the scene. And we called 911. We're like, OJ Simpson's in a Bronco on the El Toro Y. So when you watch the footage, they're like, OJ Simpson's at the El Toro Y. Yeah, we talk about it. That's why I had that Theranos mug. An ex-Theranos employee gave me that mug. We'll talk about it. He comes out. He goes, yeah, you're fucked. I'm like, what? He goes, they're out for blood. I was like, blood? Don't take my blood. I'm B negative, the second rarest blood type. So when I get in a car crash, I'm done. I ain't gonna live. No one gives shit anymore anyway. Everyone's so fucking selfish these days. Joe Biden's old. Uh-huh. He wasn't 3 years ago when you voted for him. You know who else is old? Yoda. Yoda wouldn't be Yoda if he didn't know what he was doing. Trump, here's a pandemic. Fuck you, Biden. I'm going to end the pandemic. Yeah, but you said it quietly, so out with ya. Now get that black lady who was like, what? I'm running for president now? Oh, yeah, but she laughs too much. Her vagina's brown. I don't like women. Let's put the felon in. So I have to go back to court, this time with an attorney, this time with evidence and witnesses. And we'll just cut to the chase. And this is something that maybe this messes with me. Maybe this is like one of those traumas, you know? I burst up out of my seat because they were talking registering as a sex offender, which is a thing for life. Well, I mean, now that 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the White House is now a house of rapists, so maybe I fit right in. But I didn't want to be a sex offender at the age of 18 for playing with this. I have to go to prison for that? It was like $19 too. Not worth it. And I just go like, they're like, and I just go, Your Honor, I'm not that big. Your Honor, my cock isn't that big. Aww. They ended up letting me negotiate down from public indecency to distribution of lewd material. I had to take a rape prevention class, I don't know why. I think the way to prevent rape is not raping. I had to take AIDS awareness. Again, I'm aware of it. Your class isn't helping me. And I had to do a year of court-ordered therapy. So I had to go through, I'm 18 years old, I dress as a fucking donkey for a living, and I look up, and the cheapest one I could find was $80 an hour. I go to her office. I go in, I sit down. It's very cliche. It's a black leather couch. I'll say her name was Schmalice. I don't want to give away names. She was about 3'5", more beast. Mostly like here. Like I have friends that are like fat, but their faces are like Ben Affleck. Oh, did you guys see me in the Super Bowl? My second Super Bowl? Yeah, the Ben Affleck Dunkings movie. Yeah, he cast me, directed me. It was great. We'll talk about it. They can hide, right? I just get fat everywhere. I can't hide, like I'm just fat. So fuck people that gain weight, but not in the face. It's really sad for me. She talked like Elmer Fudd, but was a woman and Asian. And she's like, I would like to welcome you to therapy. I don't know if that's racist against Elmer Fudd. She's like, I would like to welcome you to therapy. Tell me about yourself. And I was like, well, I love Walt Disney. I work for Walt Disney. His frozen head gives me good reviews every September. It's at the base of the Matterhorn. And, I bought a dildo and I danced around and I'm going to prison. She starts laughing. She's like, I was like, why are you so giggly? You must be Asian. Sorry, that was racist against giggling. She goes, no, you have to understand, my clients are murderers, rapists, like cannibals, and you walk in, you're like, I dress as Eeyore and I play with dildos. It's kind of funny. I'm like, all right, great. So we kind of start doing, I guess, the basic therapy stuff. It's kind of like Scientology. They have the introductory course where it's like, do you get stressed? Well, I do get stressed. You need Scientology. Great. Do you get tired? I have gotten tired. I got tired walking up the 10 flights of stairs with this box of my past. I carry a heavy load. I carry the weight of the world. You know who else did that? Fucking Jesus Christ. She goes, draw me a picture of your family. I'm like, what the fucking, you draw a fucking picture of your fucking family. And she goes, I'm an only child. My parents died during childbirth. I made that up. This is a safe space. Creative license is welcome here. Embellishment, hyperbole, it's my jam.
And that's what makes it look like hip hop.
So I draw a picture of my family, and here's another little fucking thing. Looking back 45 years later, I'm like, wow, that was a fucking sign. So I drew a picture I'm like, well, what is a family, right? You have a dad, a mom, a dog, a fence. So I drew my friend Chris's family because I was like, well, that's the ideal family. So I drew like the mom and the dad and the kid and the dog. And then she goes, it's interesting. She goes, you don't differentiate the difference between the mom and the dad. And I was like, oh, well, because the mom I was drawing had like a short haircut, like a short kind of Ellen, Anne Heche, like before the car crash, like her hair was longer then. We'll talk about it. I wonder why I didn't just draw my own family. Because I go, well, my dad's not around. It's just me and my mom. My siblings don't live here. What am I going to draw? Like a tall, chunky, upside down pear? I'm all torso. That was actually one of the reasons they cast me in the coveted Buzz Lightyear costume role. They were like, you're like an upside down pear. You're all torso. You have stumpy little legs. And I was like, buy a guy a drink first. Jesus. Shows that I kind of was pretending to be someone I wasn't. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And I would go to these therapy sessions. I'm doing You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown at the Laguna Playhouse. Fucking crushed it. Best Charlie Brown you've ever seen. And she fucking shows up. She's there opening night. And I remember there's a Q&A, you know, Laguna Playhouse is a big fucking deal. And she's in the front row with this like a fucking palm tree in like a plastic bucket. And she's like, you were fantastic. You were such a good Charlie Brown. And during the Q&A, I was like, and I go, ha! My court-ordered therapist is there. My Morbius, Elmer Fudd, Asian female, is in the front row. And she's like, I want to ask the young man who played Charlie Brown, how do you do it? And I was like, I'll tell you in session next week. And I went to session next week, and I got there, and she got me this fucking I've known her 2 weeks. Demanded by courts. This little box, and it's this like beautiful porcelain apple, like shiny, like the Apple logo if it were like a 3-dimensional object. And I open it, I'm like, oh my God, like what is this? And she's like, I bought that for you because you are the apple of my eye. I was like, okay. I just threw it in the garbage. She came to another show about 6 months later, and then she opens this box, and it's one of those like fruit tarts from like Russia. The fruit is like shiny and shimmery, and they're like laid out in like a nice, beautiful Stonehenge kind of thing. And she's like, I bought this for your play. And I was like, all right. 2 months later, she goes, I get an answering machine message from her. She's like, I need to talk to you. So I call her. She's like, I know you're an actor and you struggle to be an actor. What's new? She picks me up and we drive to Laguna Niguel, which is like the nicer part of South Orange County. And we go to her house. I walk in. There's another fruit tart. We go in. She's like, do you know how to play Chinese checkers? I go, no, I'm a fucking American. I know how to play white checkers. She's like, I'm going to teach you how to play Chinese checkers. Ooh, it's a lot different. And then she got, like unshouldered her like blouse. I was like, wow. And she waltzes over to the piano. She waltzes right over to the piano. She has a piano and she's like, and she starts playing piano for me. And I'm like, I thought we were playing Chinese checkers. And we sit down and she goes, I really admire your dedication to your craft. And then she pulls out.
Is it a pregnancy test? Another monster dildo? A Wetzel's pretzel? Find out what Scott's chunky Asian female Elmer Fudd court-ordered psychotherapist handed him after trying to fuck him on her piano. On the next Lovable Lunatic. Same batshit time, same sad man-child channel.